us to look out for is that phrase that, frankly, especially when you see the kind of video that you were talking about, you see the devastation this is causing to people's lives. A phrase that makes me more and more angry, because you hear it every single time in the end after one of these attacks, and that is that the people who did it were known to the authorities. We hear that, we heard that every single one of the attacks that you listed, Abby. Yeah. Of course, we don't know if that's going to be the case here. No. We need to look out for that phrase. But the reason I bring that up is that when we ask the question, what can we do about this? Of course, you can't turn our public spaces into war zones with barricades and so on. We have to live our lives. But when we know these people, it's a reasonable question to ask of our governments, why aren't you doing anything if it turns out that in advance of all these attacks you knew these people, they were on your radar?
There's an update from Sky News coming in right now. I want to share this with you. They are reporting, according to local media, 3 people have been killed in this incident and at least 20 others injured after that van plowed into a group of people in the Les Rambles area in Barcelona.
Yeah.
You know what, this, Steve, it hits at the heart and soul of Western society, right? As we've said, we don't know every fact here, and we'll continue to get more throughout the day. But where you're talking about these terror attacks and soft targets and the new reality that we live in, and just the past year and a half, what we've been dealing with vehicles ramming into popular, crowded places, with people just living their lives, oftentimes in the middle of summer when they're on vacation with their families. Yeah. They're trying to just have a good time. Terrorism, they want us to live in fear. They want us not to leave our apartments and our hotels. You know, everyone has now been told in that area to stay behind closed doors, you know, to close their blinds and to stay away from the streets. And that's how they want Western society to live.
That's right, and they're, you know, they're not going to succeed in the long run because we're stronger than them, and we say that every time. It's important to say that, but it's getting more and more frequent, and never mind the you know, the big impact on our societies, the individual impact on people and their families and their friends. That, you know, that is something that we always have to bear in mind, and that's why I think we need to ask our authorities to do more when they know these people.
Yeah, and again, we don't know who that is. We've got a quick timeline now. 5:30 p.m. local time is when this started. Police in northern Spanish city of Barcelona said that a white van had jumped the sidewalk in the city's historic Les Rambles district. Police said on their Twitter account at that point, there were possibly several injured. And now we know from what we've been reporting, Sandra just confirmed through reports, that 3 are dead, some 20 are injured. We've been covering this for you on Outnumbered. Our Shepard Smith is on the Fox News deck now. Shepard Smith reporting now.
And continuing coverage of breaking news, and we've been monitoring our European affiliates, including our own sister network, Sky News in the United Kingdom. Back to the live pictures, if we could. I want you to know that Sky News, back to the live pictures, please. Thank you. The Sky News is now reporting 13 people have died, and they believe that the death toll may increase. Harris mentioned just a moment ago that we're watching a video online that's circulating on Twitter now of the scene. We are not showing it at the moment because Spanish police have asked us not to, as it reveals faces of some of those who were either injured and in some who may have been killed, it appears from this video. So we're working to doctor this video so that faces are not seen. You know, in an internet world, you know, we do what we can. We're aware that families are home and it's summertime and kids are home, and I'll just tell you that the carnage on this scene is highly disturbing. And it appears from the video that this van didn't just come up onto a sidewalk and then crash into a few people. From this video, it looks like this van came up onto a pedestrian walkway, a sidewalk, and went for some distance. I wouldn't venture a guess at this moment, but down a city block at least, for there are victims to the left and the right. There are people bleeding in an outdoor market with others working to help them and trying to revive some. Just a scene of incredible carnage. Our sister network, Sky News, as I mentioned, is on scene and covering this live. Let's listen in there.
Pinned down in the restaurant, and they try and get them out of there safely. At the moment, if we assume that the restaurant is surrounded by police, then it's pretty clear that at the moment the situation is relatively contained. What the police and the security service need to do is make sure that continues. They do not want this situation spilling back out onto the streets where potentially more people get hurt, Neil.
David, thanks very much. Well, as David just mentioned, police and other security personnel were very keen on is making sure that people left the area or moved off from the streets inside. One of those, Mel Higgins, is a tourist who's been visiting the city. We can talk to them now. Mel, thanks for being with us. You yourself were about a couple of streets away from the van crash and found yourself barricaded inside a shop, I'm told.
That's where I originally saw it.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So I was with my two daughters and we were walking down the Paseo de Gracia, which is sort of parallel and one up from the Rambla, when suddenly just people started running towards us, screaming and shouting, run, run, run. So, you know, I grabbed the two girls.
Well, I got it right off there.
And there was an orange phone shop was open. We ran inside and they locked the doors of the phone shop. And we just all waited there.
It's about a 20-second video.
I suppose probably about 20 minutes. And then it seemed very calm out on the street. And obviously the people working in Orange were in touch with the police. And the police said, just stay there for now. Then about 20 minutes later, they said we could leave, and we were just about to leave when people started running again and screaming. And they said, everyone back in. So we went back inside. At this point, they shut down the shutters, and they told us to all go upstairs. And we all went upstairs, and we were there for about 20 minutes, just sitting there waiting. And, you know, we could see everyone out on the street, and they looked quite calm by then, actually. And then, after about 20 minutes, they said, OK, the police have said, everyone, please just go home now. Just go straight home, go home as quickly as you can. And that was it, really.
So Mel, where are you and your daughters at the moment? Have you managed to get away?
Yeah, so we met up with my husband, because we were a little bit worried, because he was somewhere else, but by phone we contacted him. It worked out he was OK. Met up with him, and then just walked. It was probably about a 25-minute walk home in the opposite direction to where the incident was.
And as you made that journey, we've been speaking to a number of people who've been in and around La Rambla, talking about just the sheer volume of ambulances, of police that were speeding to the location. You must have seen some of that.
Yeah, there were constant police cars, constant ambulances, police on the street, motorbikes. But people were very, very calm in the street, and they were just directing everyone in the opposite direction. But people were still wandering down towards the incident, so that was the situation.
How are your daughters after being bundled into a shop?
When we were in the shop, they were very scared, because suddenly you see all these things on TV, and then even though we were safe, you know, you suddenly can understand how frightening it is. And at one point, before we were told to go upstairs, they were telling everyone to duck. So we were ducking behind the counter. And the two of them were, they were quite scared, as was I as well. And there were a couple of young children who were crying, and so it was just the unknown, really, not knowing what had happened. And then, of course, everyone started looking on their phones and found out what had happened.
Well, anyone who is caught up in a situation like that has a right to be scared. Mel, you may well not have noticed. Why would you? But up until the point that this incident took place, had you noticed that the police presence on the streets? Did it strike you as quite a heavy police presence ahead of what happened this afternoon?
No, to be honest, we only arrived in Barcelona yesterday, so today was our first day going into the centre. And to be honest, no, I hadn't noticed excessive police presence, but I wasn't looking either. I know, obviously, I'm very aware of the situation at the airport because we're flying back on Monday, so I'm watching the news and, aware that the Civil Guard are taking control of that. But I really wasn't thinking about the streets.
And what do you and your husband, your family, what do you intend to do now, given what's happening just outside your door?
Probably won't go shopping. We won't go to the Rambla tomorrow anyway. I think maybe we'll go to the beach or to a quiet place, or maybe just stay at home. Haven't quite worked it out yet. We've just come home now. We're going to watch the news, stay in tonight. I think they're telling everyone just go home. Lock your doors, go home until the situation has I know that the people are still in the restaurant, so let's see what happens.
Well, we wish you and your family well, and very pleased that you're all safe and sound.
We're fine. We're fine. Thank you very much.
Mel Higgins, many thanks indeed. Let's just bring you up to date with the very latest that we're hearing from Barcelona, where a van has crashed into crowds in a pedestrianised shopping district in the city centre. At least 13 people have been killed as a result of that. That, according to one source, I should say, Cadena Ser, that's a radio station in Spain. Other media, including El País, one of the biggest daily newspapers in Spain, saying that there are at least 10 dead. A police spokesman at the moment not confirming on the record the number of casualties, but at the very least it does appear that that has moved into double figures. We are also now being told by Catalan police that they are treating this as a terrorist attack. We have heard that from a number of sources, in fact. Now, let's just bring you some new picture that we have now. It's some new video of the search taking place inside the marketplace. As you see there, police carrying sidearms, wearing helmets, moving through. Unclear as to why they're moving backwards away from a place of interest. If you notice there, their airline looking to the left and off camera, whether it's for colleagues to follow or because they're just checking their rear. These pictures continue. The search clearly taking place. Speaking a little earlier with our correspondent David Bowden, it does certainly appear that the occupants of that van fled on foot and are somewhere still in the city centre. There is this parallel incident that we have been told about of individuals holding themselves up in a bar. Again, we cannot confirm whether or not the armed individuals that have taken refuge, so to speak, in a bar are the individuals that caused the deaths in Las Ramblas. It would appear to be a reasonable assumption that they are in some way linked to the van, if not the people that were inside and driving it. But just to remind you, at least 13 people dead, according to one source. El País saying at least 10 dead. And as you can see at the bottom of your screen there, police are moving through the city centre of one of Spain's biggest cities, searching for the occupants of that van. We are expecting an update from Catalan police in the next few minutes. We were told that that would be taking place at around about 6 p.m. British time. Of course, in situations such as this, they tend to wish to speak to the public as soon as possible, partly to update. Of course, there's huge interest, not just in Spain, but around the world as to what is happening there, but also to reassure, to make it clear that, as the pictures we've been showing you for the past hour and a half clearly demonstrate, there is a massive